This is a DJ Beats production.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Miller time.
And BT.
And we've got some frequently asked questions coming for you. This is the second part of our staff video. So we're just going to go ahead and kick it off. First question that's most frequently asked is who gets reimbursed for the certifications. That's talking about the water safety, lifeguard certifications, that kind of stuff. Well, every staff member is responsible for getting their own certification, but those whose job description requires lifeguarding, such as water sports PD, waterfront PD, day camp PD, trailblazer PD, water sports counselors, and any head counselor who will be driving boats and or jet skis, you guys are all eligible for $100 reimbursement if the receipt is submitted to your site director by April 15th. So get that receipt in there by April 15th if you are if you fall into the category of one of the positions I just listed and you are eligible for a $100 reimbursement.
Now, on that same note, you need all your hiring paper to work these weekends, but you don't know how you can sign up for one, you don't know where to look. That's an easy one to fix. All the dates are located on the Expert Online Training website or account that you're going to set up. When you get on there, you scroll down and you'll see Staff Weekends link. You click on that, it'll give you all the dates, and then all you have to do from there is email your site director and they'll sign you up and you'll be good to go. So that's how you sign up for weekends. Remember that ALA weekends are reserved for ALA staff, so leadership, ALC, LIT staff. Those ALA weekends are reserved for you. Everybody else after that is considered a volunteer unless they have spaces, which they probably won't.
Yep. And so you get these big old hiring packets and they've got 27 pages and you're thinking, do I really need all 27 pages? Yes, you need all 27 pages filled out and sent back to the camp office. They use every single one of them. I know there's some of them that you may think, oh, these don't apply to me. I'm not a veteran. I never went to Iraq or fought in a war. But you need to fill the paper out as appropriate to you and send that back to your site director with the rest of the packet.
Absolutely. Drug tests. Drug tests. I know it sounds pretty crazy when you think about camp to think about getting drug tested, but here's the thing. It's not a camp decision. It's a YMCA as an organization decision. The YMCA's out in California and Oregon and all those places, everybody's getting staff or drug tested this year, and unfortunately we fall in that umbrella, so everybody's getting staff tested. You're going to get tested at the weekend you work. You only get tested once, and that's all I got.
Okay, so everyone knows that you now have to fill out the direct deposit sheet for your paycheck. That way, camp no longer hands out paper checks at the end of the week and gives it to you, and you're responsible for it. They don't do that anymore. Now, camp they direct deposit the money directly into your checking account. So you might wonder, what do I do if I don't have a checking account? Well, that's a very good question. You can use your savings account information. Most people do have savings account, but if you don't feel comfortable using your savings account, you can use your parents' checking account. So on the application, put your parents' checking account information. That way your money will actually be deposited into their account, and then it becomes your parents' responsibility for getting you the money. Well, so obviously if you trust your parents enough and talk to your parents about that, to get it put in their account if you don't have a checking account, or get put into your savings account.
Right, and let me piggyback on you right there. Those people that have this question are probably the same people wondering about a work permit because you haven't done one yet. If you're 17 or younger, you have to have a work permit to work at camp. That information is on the video that was before this one, and you can get it from your school. You have to go to the registrar's office. If you already worked and you're a CIT, but you're still going to be 17 this year, you don't need to resubmit a work permit. You only need one on file. If they have one, you're done.
Absolutely. Okay, IDs. Camp has to have a copy of your IDs on record, and you may ask, can I fax a copy of my ID? And the answer to that is no, you cannot fax it. Camp has to have a clear picture of you on file. So faxes, when you fax an ID, like a picture of an ID, it's too dark. So what you need to do is you need to make a copy of it and you need to send it by mail. That way it'll be a lot clearer and they've got a good picture on file. So just keep it simple. Just you can just mail it or you can email it if you need to. Just make it clear.
Right. Now about getting paid when you're on those staff weekends, probably should have mentioned it earlier with the other staff information, but going back to the weekends that you're going to work, everybody when you get your staff training is going to have a stipend. That's everybody, and you only have training once. You guys know that, and you have to have your hiring papers submitted in order to get paid for that weekend. So let's say Andy is working the March 17th weekend. He goes there and doesn't have his papers in. No payment. No exceptions.
Not a look right there. So, when do you report for staff training when you have to go to your weekend? Well, that's a very good question. You are going to report on Friday night of your staff training date at 7 p.m. So the gates will be locked beforehand, so please do not get there too early. 7 p.m. at Lake Burton, the Friday of the weekend that you're supposed to work, and you'll be able to get out on Sunday at 11 a.m. You have to work the entire weekend. If you're unable to work the entire weekend, contact your site director or Andrew about the weekend that you're working, and they will be able to work that out with you and talk to you and see what your options are.
Right. You might be wondering now, when is all this paperwork due? You've heard us talk about it. You've heard everybody talk about it. Listen, the official date is March 15th. You have to have all of your paperwork into Gainesville by March 15th. If you don't, your contract can be considered void and you will lose your spot. You might not, but they will put it up because there's a ton of people out there that want spots, especially this year.
Yeah.
In addition to that, certifications need to be in by May 15th. So all of your papers and hiring packets need to be submitted by March 15th. All your lifeguard, water safety certifications need to be in by May 15th.
Okay, we are now on the subject of health forms. Those of you who have worked at camp before know all about health forms. Well, I'm here to tell you that health forms do not stay on file from year to year. They don't. You have to submit a new health form every single year. As inconvenient as that may be, it's very helpful for camp and it's required from camp, so you really don't have an option. So you need to fill out another health form. You need to turn it in. There was a couple changes to the health form made this year, so make sure you take a good look at it. Not any severe changes, but just a couple new things. So take a good in-depth look at the health form, get it filled out, get it signed, turn it in. And by the way, flu shots are highly recommended this year. We all know what happened last year. Sicknesses dampened a little bit of the fun at camp. Even though it's still a great summer, we want to try to prevent that. So if you can get a flu shot, it is highly recommended. Please get that done. I know we're both contemplating it, so take that in consideration, guys.
Absolutely. One more thing that I have. If you're one of those guys that's going to get swole over the summer and you have football to train for like this guy did, you can probably tell them about it if they need more information. But if you need to miss time at camp, all you have to do is contact your site director and tell them when you're going to be missing, and they'll find a sub to put in your spot. So don't just freak out and you might have hockey training during the summer. It's okay. Just let them know, and they'll fill in somebody in that spot.
Yeah, it happens to everybody every year. I went through it. Every single year I was in high school, I always had football practice during the summer, just like any of you may have for any sport that you may participate in. So yeah, like you said, just contact your site director and they can work it out with you. Last thing is, we've talked about the drug test, but when and where will you take the drug test? Well, I'm here to tell you that. It will be administered when you come up for your staff training weekend at Lake Burton. So you'll go to Lake Burton for your staff training. Drug test is just one of the things you do, and they are mandatory. It's not optional. You have to get it done, like Brandon said, and it's just one of the things you got to do to become a staff member at Camp High Harbor this year.
All right, so there's some things to think about. Those are some frequently asked questions. Can't wait to see you guys this summer. If you have more, contact your site director. This has been BT
and Miller time.
See you guys.
This is a DJ Beats production.